Okay, but I used to be the person who was like, when I was a kid, there's this movie, um, a Will Smith movie with Gene Hackman.
iRobot?
No, it's called Enemy of the State. I Robot is similar, but in the sense that in Enemy of the State, Will Smith works for I think the CIA or the FBI, but he's not like a important guy at all. And so one of these, top secret deep state type people frames him for a big conspiracy of crimes that he didn't do. But of course, like the government is so good at framing people that they just, plaster his reputation is everywhere, or they ruin his reputation. He's all over the news, like he's America's most wanted guy. And this is like very, infant type technology. Like he has like a, Nokia phone and these kind of things, but they bug his pager, and they bug his phone. And then it's like he has to get off the grid, so he has to get a new ID and all this stuff. And that really freaked me out when I was a kid. It always made me be like, okay, I'm never gonna get framed by the government for something I didn't do. So I'm always gonna be like wary of all this stuff. Like I'm not getting a barcode on my arm. I'm not getting a microchip in there to replace bank cards or whatever. And this has kind of been my position since I was probably 8 years old. And now I've just decided I'm totally the opposite, because there's so many things. I was talking about this to a girl in Turkey of how, so my Apple Watch, right? It popped up and gave me this notification. Now it does this because, so they recently rolled out sleep tracking natively to the Apple Watch. It used to be you had to have an external app to do it, and it wasn't native. Now it's native, and there's so many new. And I just set it up a few days ago because I didn't know you had to go enable it. So I enabled it, and now it does all this cool stuff. Now it tells me, because I've told it what time I normally want to go to bed. So now it tells me, a little notification pops up and says, hey, you need to charge your Apple Watch right now so that it's fully charged when you go to sleep, or so that it has at least 30% when you go to sleep, to make sure that it has enough battery to track your sleep. So I've, of course, told it I'm going to go to sleep at, let's say, 11:30. So then it tells me at 11, hey, go charge your watch. Another thing, I'm out walking around all around Istanbul one day, get home at around 4 o'clock, forgot that I had a meeting at 4:30 on my calendar. It was like the only meeting I agreed to take during my vacation. And then I'd put my phone on the charger because it was almost dead from walking around all day and using the directions and the maps and stuff. And then luckily my watch tells me, hey, you got a meeting in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, fuck, forgot about that meeting. The point that I'm trying to make is that robots and AI is making my life better every single day. Right? Just the sleep tracking, I get this notification, and it tracks, of course, what time I fall asleep. It tracks my heart rhythm while I sleep, like all this stuff. And then it asks me when I wake up, how tired are you, all these things. So it takes all these data inputs that I give it, and then it gives me a better life. It gives me recommendations for that. So there's obviously a lot of danger and risk with technology, like there is for anything. But I honestly think there's so much more to be gained from technology and the improvement of us as a species, as far as quality of life and all this kind of stuff, that I'm going to be an early adopter of all this stuff. Hopefully I don't get murdered by a robot. But
yeah, I'll hope you'll be around for a long time with a brain chip in. But I think it's quite two different things to have a watch tell you something. I know it's quite close on your wrist, and if there's a knife in there, it could just slit you open. That you'd be like one of those teenage cutters. But at the same time, it's not in you yet. They didn't have to like use a scalpel on the top of your head, open it up, drill a hole in your skull, put a chip in there, attach it to your brain. And to that extent, I think it's still quite different from having an actual Neuralink or something similar to having an Apple Watch or any other smartwatch. But I do agree, tech is really improving our lives. It's really convenient, like you said, like when you forget something, it will give you a reminder will pop up and helps you to stay organized, to stay on top of your schedule and to do stuff. It increases your productivity for sure.